use it in your materials as well. And welcome to everybody in the Real Women, Real Healing group who is watching this after, who has clicked on the link and who is watching this afterwards to find some techniques and some ways to get into spring energy. Today, I'm really appreciate that you made an hour for this today. I am really excited about what we're going to be doing together. You're going to leave this hour with 3 clear steps that you can take to really tap into spring energy and to begin to use that energy for your own wellness and healing. And that's everything we're really focused on at Real Women, Real Healing. There are keys to healing that are uniquely for women, and spring is one of the most beautiful times for women to explore your healing and your energy recovery. Because why? Look out your window. What are you seeing out there? You know, it's like, you know, when you go outside and the trees are all bare, and then you go outside the next day and the trees are like budding, and it's so exciting to see all the little buds coming out on the trees. And then at the end of the week, it's like, oh, the leaves have popped out on the trees. That's the picture of spring energy, right? It just wants to, it just comes up and it pops when it's ready. Now we know that like everything, it really comes from the invisible energy force that's driving our lives and driving our planet. That's my system. That's the system that I've been studying, how the invisible energy, life force energy, or what we call qi, really powers up everything we do. It powers up our human bodies, and it powers up the whole world that we live in. And spring has this unique quality that just surges from the ground. I mean, you can go outside, you can smell it. You can hear the birds earlier in the day. They're so happy, they're reacting, they're calling to each other. They know this is the moment, right? And if they miss this moment, they don't get to create their next generation. They don't get to go into the future with strength and wellness. They may miss out on the promise of life that is for them. And we follow what they're doing because we also want to tap into this. We also want to snag the purpose of our lives and the promise of good for our lives. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today in 3 ways. I know that the 3 things I'm going to be sharing with you work because I've been using them in my life for about a dozen years. And the techniques that we're learning today come from a much larger system that I've been in active study with over these last 12 years. This system has literally saved my life. It is based on ancient, traditional Chinese medicine healing practices that are very uniquely applied to the conditions of our modern world. And what's interesting is that these practices have been in use for thousands of years, and that thousands of years ago, humans were facing a lot of stress. They were facing food shortages, they were facing war, they were facing family strife. And, you know, so many of those same kind of patterns are human patterns that are still with us today. And a lot of those tools still apply to us today. But of course, in our modern world, we've got a whole bunch of other things that our ancestors didn't have to worry about. We've got electromagnetic field, we've got GMO food, we've got all kinds of things that are pushing our lives in a certain direction and creating stresses in a certain direction. So by the time I reached midlife, I was a very normal midlife woman, right? And what do women in midlife usually start to show? We start to show fatigue. In my case, it was chronic fatigue. I was also overweight, and I was suffering from hyperthyroidism, a lot of anxiety and depression. I had Epstein-Barr virus. I was really wiped out. At the same time, I had been working my whole life for all the things that I really loved and wanted: a beautiful job, a fantastic family, wonderful friends, tons of community engagement, a spiritual practice, all these really beautiful things in my life. And I was starting to wonder if I was going to have enough energy to really carry them out. And I couldn't believe that I was going to work my whole life to feel constantly depleted. And I didn't believe that. So I, kept trying to use the resources that had always helped me, and they weren't working. And I was very, very lucky to discover this other healing system. And that's what has been working in my life ever since. I'm no longer on any medications. I don't take many supplements. I don't take vitamins. I don't take any of that stuff because I've really learned to trust the innate wisdom that's in my body for healing. And it's not just me. It's thousands of people who have also used this system for their own healing and health. And the women that I work with, that I partner with, have discovered amazing results for themselves. I mean, to be able to turn around chronic fatigue, to be able to turn around autoimmune diseases, to be able to get a clean bill of health, to leave those allergies in the dust. All of these things are possible when we tune up the energy in our own bodies. So actually, we're going to do one of the qigong movements right now together, because I want you to start to move and connect and get a little sense of what this is about. Today, we're going to do a total of 5 techniques, and the series of them only takes about less than 10 minutes to do altogether. So, but I want you to start right away to get a sense of what this is about. So start by letting me see your hands up in the hands up. Good. Wonderful. Now take your right hand and put it, open it up. Good. Take your left hand and lay it right inside. So that looks like this. Good. So your left hand is laying on top of your right hand. All right. And you're going to take your left thumb, just wiggle your left thumb around so you know which one it is, and just put it right here in the webbing of your thumb and index finger, and just give yourself a little massage right there. I'm standing up so that you can see this, but you can do it sitting. You can do this while you're laying in bed at night, if you wake up in the middle of the night. And I'm going to just remind you, your thumb is coming on the outside of your hand. Look down and see if your thumb is coming through or if it's on the outside. Put it on the outside. Good, on the outside, as opposed to through, which is kind of a cutting off gesture. Good, beautiful. This is called Energy Gate number 1. And this is a beautiful part of a series that we teach in my 3-month program. It's a part of the work that we do. So now while you're sitting here, you can also just gently bring your hand back to your tummy while you're sitting down and just keep massaging that point. And as you do it, just make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Make sure the muscles of your face can relax, your jaw, the muscles under your eyes, the muscles in your throat, your voice that you use all day, getting a rest. And just, I love seeing eyes closing. I love seeing little smiles of relaxation while we're just rubbing. This very powerful technique has the ability to open up the whole energy circuit. Can you feel it opening up, going all the way up your arm, through your shoulder, across your neck, and down the other side of your arm, back into your hand? You can feel that energy circuit start to open up. This is a great thing to do if you have a headache, neck, jaw, earaches, and especially shoulder aches. As long as you remember to relax your shoulders when you do it, and let your thumb really be the agent of your treatment. So your thumb right here is like your treatment, your masseuse right here. Hi, thank you, thumb. You're doing such a great job for me today. Really great. All right, now let's switch sides and move your left thumb to cradle, gently cradle your right hand, and put your left thumb in the webbing of your right hand. Good. Tilson, just put your hand on the outside. Boop. Yeah, so it's just laying down there. That's it. Good. Very good. And give yourself, like, really dig in there. You may feel tenderness, and you may feel more tenderness on one side than the other. If you feel tenderness, congratulations. It means that you've discovered a little spot where your energy needs a push and is getting one now. So let's just keep rubbing this area for a minute. Michelle, your face looks so relaxed. That's great.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I think I may have gotten the hands mixed up because I'm doing the same thing I did earlier. So should I just switch or just continue?
Just switch. That's a great question. Yep, just switch.
Okay. So I can do both. Okay.
I'm gonna do both sides. You do one side, so you do one side for ideally you do it for 3 to 5 minutes. And then you switch to the other side. So we're gonna just keep doing this, because guess what, guys? As the 5 of us, 6 of us are doing this, we are actually connecting now to each other just by looking around this room at each other and doing this together. We can actually support each other in this way, which is really beautiful. So keep doing this. And now I want you to just imagine while you're doing this, something growing in your yard or in the little bit of grass outside your house, or in the little parkway that you walk by. You see something taking root, something coming through that bare ground of winter. Energy, spring energy is rising energy, right? It comes right from the earth and it just rises right up. Spring energy flows smoothly. It needs to flow smoothly and be uninterrupted. Have you ever seen a flower growing through a crack in the pavement? It sounds so romantic, but it actually is a real thing. I mean, have you ever tried to get rid of the dandelions in your yard? When you pull up one and 5 grow on the other side of your yard, right out of the same root system. Spring energy is determined, it's courageous, it's persistent, it's here, and it doesn't want to be stopped. And in nature, it can't be stopped. You can't stop the spring winds or the rains or the heat and the cold and the changing temperature. So we jump into spring energy when we connect to that rising energy, And this is one way that we do this. When we actually work on this spot with our thumb, we're actually clearing out a block that's going to allow the energy to rise up through your arms and rise up through the top of your head and move and start to move and flow more smoothly. Spring is a time to grow, right? We talked about those birds chirping at 4 a.m. They've just gone wild with spring energy. We want to go wild with spring energy too. So, so let me ask, because we're a small group here, we're going to go, everybody come off mute for 1 sec. And let me just ask you, is spring your favorite season? Anybody?
Mine, for sure.
Phyllis Ann, yes?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because everything's new. The temperatures are warming. I love walking outside. I walk at a park every day, and I've seen hawks and geese and all the new, even flowers and things coming up in the ground. It's just beautiful. I just love it the time of year. It's all new and fresh. And like you said, all the energy is just out there to be
so
enjoyed.
Nice. So nice. Thank you. And I see Jade put up a heart. And Michelle, you were kind of meh. Now tell me more.
Well, it's because the color is so hard to capture on canvas because it's so bright, so there's that struggle. But I am getting in our woods, we're starting to get the wildflowers. So I'm beginning to engage spring in a new way. So that's a good thing.
Oh, good. Well, you're gonna leave here in a half an hour going like, oh, and now I have another way. And that's really interesting because you use the word struggle. So we're gonna just hold on to the word struggle, and Phyllis-Ann used the word fresh and growing and green. And what do you think, Paula? What's your connection to spring? Yes, thumbs up, medium, meh.
No, I like winter, actually. I love winter.
Nice.
When I live on a farm, and when spring arrives, it just equals work.
Oh,
It equals work.
I love
So,
that. That's really amazing. So I was a fundraiser forever. I was a professional fundraiser, and I worked for these giant global nonprofits. You know, in Chicago, we were raising like $3 million every year. It was just a constant, nonstop cycle of work. But
Wow.
spring was always when we did our big gala events. So it was like having 800 people over for dinner, and every single one of them wanted to be treated like they were the only ones in the room. So that was fun. And I'm sharing that because also I really have needed to practice my connection to spring. I mean, Phyllis-Ann, you've got this very natural thing. I'm working with a client who says, I love to go walking in spring, but I'm really usually like frustrated and vulnerable feeling when I'm out walking in spring. And I thought that was, like she said, I feel edgy and vulnerable. And I know that in the summer, I'm going to be much more relaxed. So there is an aspect of spring energy that carries that edginess and that vulnerability, right? Like, when you're walking and you see those little leaves coming through the ground, and you don't want to step on those little tender shoots. There is a fragility to this time of year. And we want to be able to be really open to all the things we're going to be doing, so that we want to have, like, I've got a really old apple tree in my yard, and I'm just fascinated by how many little baby apple buds it makes and how few of them actually get to be apples. It takes a really long time to make an apple, and it takes a lot of luck and a lot of like, well, where did you pop out on the tree kind of a thing. I mean, there's really an interesting picture there for all of us to kind of take away. Like, we put out a lot of stuff, and not every single thing we put out comes to fruition. And that's part of the process of connecting to natural law and to what we're doing. So why is it important to connect to natural law? Because we are human beings. We are natural beings, right? And we are a picture of the world around us. So we want to make sure that we always remember, as part of our like tips for spring, that everything is connected and that everything is moving, driven in this sort of natural law cycle. Why do we want to step into natural law? Because it's really super powerful. And there's no way for us to stop natural law, right? We can't stop. We don't try to stop day and night. We don't try to stop winter from turning into spring, because we know we can't. So even though winter is your favorite, Paula, you know that the spring is inevitably on the way. And all those seasons follow and keep circling and circling. Birth and life and death, eating and pooping and sleeping. These are all the natural cycles that we want to enhance as much as we can. And these are the kinds of enhancements that we make in our, these are the enhancements that I make in the programs that I'm doing with people working one-on-one in my coaching program and in some of the other qigong programs that I teach. So today we're going to do 3 things to help us get, step into that rising energy and step out of that feeling of frustration and block and irritation and vulnerability. That is what is the result of block, feeling that block. When spring energy can't flow, it can't get through. It's got to keep looking for a way to push its way through. And we want to try to make that as easy as possible. So we're going to do that by changing our view, by changing a habit, and by changing our mind. And those are going to be our 3 ways to do that in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn more qigong together, and we're going to plan to, I just realized to do this, I need to be pinned in the view. So wonderful. So we're going to do change our view. So why is it important to change our view in spring? Because our eyes are connected to everything that's going on in the spring. Our eyes take in so much all day long. And now with everything that we're seeing in the world, the eyes are really working hard. We are Zooming all day. We are using electronics more than we ever have. And we are also in the midst of a very stressful time. There have been wars in the world for the last many years, but now we are looking at images of millions of people in dire circumstances, and we're trying to take all this in and to digest all of that as well, on top of everything that we've already taken in for the pandemic, on top of everything that we've taken in as we look at the strife in our communities and in our relationships. In my community, there has been racial strife and equity strife and diversity strife, and things that are broken want to be fixed. Spring is a great time to do that. But it's very important that we give our eyes a break and that we give ourselves a break, because resting is a really important part of renewing ourselves. So we're going to do a couple of things specifically to help our eyes right now. This is great. These are great techniques for your eye strain at the end of the day. If your eyes are red and irritated, if you have an ocular headache, if you have headaches moving through here or over the top of your head, these are all techniques that are going to help you get rid of the blocks that are creating those painful spots. So the first thing we do in this series, we have done together already, and that is this, what we call energy gate number 1. And you do that on each side for a couple of minutes. And the next part of this series of qigong for your eye treatment, for your eye strain, is we use our thumb and index finger, and we're going to put it right here on the bridge of your nose. All right. So just watch me for a minute. Well, I see you all doing it with me. That's good. But it helps in qigong. It always helps if you watch first and then do. So you using these fingers is important. They have a purpose. They have an energy connection, and you're plugging yourself into that connection. So you're going to make a circle right in the bridge of your nose, next to the corner of your eye. A gentle circle. And now that you've seen me do it, go ahead and try it. And we're going to do this together and just rub the bridge of your nose. Now here is the trick. When you get to the top of the circle up here, just give yourself a gentle pull out. So circle and pull, circle and pull, circle and pull, circle and pull, circle and pull. I'm going to count this for us. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. So you can see 2, that these are slow circles. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's take a break for a minute and just see, are there any questions about this? Any thoughts? Are you feeling anything going on in there? We're going to do this again. All right, so grab your nose right here. Good. Here we go. So you're making circles into that little soft spot of your eye. You know, in the corner, I'm going to let you do it on your own time, but in the corner of your eye, there's a little soft pocket. See if you can get your fingers to reach in there. Be gentle, be loving, make sure your shoulders down, make sure your eyes are relaxed. Pull, circle, and pull, circle, and pull. Good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, and stop. Very good. The next movement that we'll do together uses our thumbs again for our little treaters. So raise your thumbs, bring them up to the corner of your, bring them up to this spot of your eyebrow. And then just let your thumbs come down into the little pocket right under your, what's called your ocular bone. This is your bone right here that's going around your eye. So just bring your thumb right down into that pocket. And anybody feel tenderness in there? Can you raise your elbows? No, just kidding. All right, so yeah, Jade is feeling a little tenderness. So put your thumb, if you're not feeling tenderness, then tuck your thumb down and in. Push back into the little soft spot right under your eyebrow. Right under your eyebrow. This is a little hard to see. I hope you can see if I turn sideways. Good. Right there, and just push in and leave your thumbs here until you find that little tender spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep holding. 2, 2, 3. Make sure your shoulders are down. 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and release. Bring your thumbs down. Were you all able to find that little spot? A little sensitive spot. All right. So all the energy running through here, we want to free it up. We want to give our eyes a rest. And now, and in order to do that, we release everything that allows the flow to move through our face. And now we're going to learn the Wrinkle Buster, which is going to use this part of our hand right here. These are all really good for wrinkles because when wrinkles show up on our face, that is a picture of where energy is stuck. Why would a wrinkle show up on one spot and not another? It's because that is connecting to something that isn't functioning well enough to move the energy out. So we're going to use these part of our hands here, and we're just going to go from the inside corner of the eye to the outside edge of the eye. Very simply, just give yourself a little gentle rub. Use moderate pressure. We're not really trying to go too hard, but you want to be able to feel it along here, right along your brow bone, I guess is what that is. Good. and pulling out, inside to outside corner. Good. Inside to outside corner. Nice. Inside to outside corner. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Make sure your neck is relaxed. 6, 7, and 8. Now take your hands, bring your hands together, rub them together till you feel a little bit of warmth in the center of your hands. Gently, gently feeling that warmth. And now bring your hands up and cover your eyes and put a little bit of warming heat into your eyes, a little bit of love. And just here to appreciate everything our eyes are doing for us every day. We know that the eyes are the window of our soul. What are we willing to see? How do we see it? Who do we let see into our eyes, and whose eyes can we look through to see out? Okay, bring your hands down. Are there any questions about any of these things that we just did?
No, but it was very relaxing.
Good. Good. So we have these are the techniques to begin to change your view. One of the most important things that you'll be doing to change your view is to give yourself the 5 or 8 minutes that it takes to do this. And the view that you're changing is to say, my eyes are so important. Springtime is connected to my eye health more than anything. I want to be able to thank my eyes, appreciate my eyes, and give my eyes a break. So I'm going to turn away from my electronics for 5 to 8 minutes, and I'm going to do this. Starting here, 2 minutes, ideally 3 to 5 minutes. Again, this beautiful technique. Use this in the middle of the night if you wake up, if your mind is busy. It will help you calm down. It'll help your mind come to peace. So not to change back and forth, but to go 3 to 5 minutes on one side, 3 to 5 minutes on the other side. And then the next step is thumb and index finger, bridge of nose, rubbing that soft spot in the corner of your eye. The next thing you do is with your thumbs up here, tuck your thumb in and under that bone so you can find that little sensitive spot, that little owie spot, and give yourself just a holding pattern there. And then the eyebrow rub, so beautiful, moving the energy out and away from the inside of our eyes to the outside. And then the hand warming, warm eye treatment to finish. Give yourself the whole thing. Doesn't need to take more than about, like I said, 5 minutes is kind of cheap. 8 minutes, 10 minutes would be the best. Because why? We are energy beings. We are women who give so much to our lives, so much to our work, our relationships, our families, our elders, our youngers, we're giving so much away. And this is the most beautiful way to just take something back for yourself. And because we talked about the energy flow moving up and wanting to really rise up. So here you are actually at the high, this is a high level of your physical body, right? You're kind of at the top of your physical body here. It's a really beautiful place to release the energy and to allow the energy to come out, because we get so busy by the end of the day. Our minds are so full. We're carrying so much up here, and we're constantly bringing in more through here. So it's a beautiful way to remember, I want to allow my energy to rise all the way up and out so that I can be just like that persistent dandelion and that beautiful tree pushing out 1,000 flowers without caring which one is going to become an apple and which one is going to fall to the ground. I am keeping an eye on time, and I would like to give you your 2 other tips. Oh my God, qigong. I'm in the energy zone. All right, your 2 other tips. Here we go. Change a habit. Spring energy. So what we've been talking about, spring also needs to be flexible, right? Hey, I don't know if you guys have had a lot of wind blowing through your lives. We've had tons of wind here in the Midwest. And I'm just watching trees, gigantic trees, just flailing around in the wind and doing their best to stay intact. How do trees survive? Trees are a picture of the spring element, the wood element, and spring, and our eyes and our upward flow of energy are all connected. They're all part of our spring health and our spring tapping into our spring energy. Trees have to be flexible when the wind comes through them, or they get knocked over, right? Just like we have to follow that law, we have to practice flexibility in the spring. So one way to do that is to change a habit. Change a habit. This could be a habit that you have about how you dress, what you're willing to wear and not willing to wear. It could be something you change. Maybe you want to change your hairstyle. Maybe you want to change the way you brush your teeth. You want to change what you're having for breakfast. Have pizza instead of oatmeal. Try something that just allows you, like, wow, break a habit, free that flow. Anything you can do to change a habit is going to help you be more flexible and willing to allow whatever's happening to come into your life. So your first tip is change your view. Your second tip is change a habit and be more flexible and allowing. I will tell you for sure that if you can do something as simple as switching the hand that you brush your teeth in, you will suddenly find yourself in a challenging situation and you will be more flexible in the face of that challenge. And it's really exciting to see how the physical practice translates into that kind of an external connection in your relationships. And I hope that we will be talking after this and we'll explore some of these things together in our follow-up calls with each other. But it really is a concrete application. When we change the habit inside, we get the external benefits going outward, just like it happens in nature. The wind is rattling around for a purpose. The wind is actually needed by nature to help things grow, to shake things up. And so we want to be able to step into that, to be able to draw on some of that energy. And we want to be able to do it with flexibility, and we want to be able to do it with faith. So the third thing I would like to suggest for everybody is that you change your mind. Change your mind about something. So part of what spring also needs us to do is kind of like the calm after the storm. Spring is as peaceful as it is flowing and active. Spring has to regroup in a peaceful way in order to get that next energy flow up and out. So a practice that allows us inner peace, which I know you all felt. I could feel you feeling it all as you were putting your hands in front of your eyes and warming your face and your head from the outside in. You start to remember that feeling of inner peace in your heart. Another way to do that is to just change your mind. And I'm going to give you a couple of simple ways to do that. The simplest way is in your life, in your daily life, you are doing some you're in one natural cycle that I mentioned briefly before. It's a cycle of eating, eliminating, and sleeping. There are 3 very clear places where we do that, right? Generally, we only pee and poop in a specific room in the house that's designed for that. So, and generally, hopefully, we're eating in a place that we have created to sit and bring food and nutrition and healthy things into our bodies. And when we sleep, hopefully we're doing that in a room that has been created for that purpose. If it's not a room, if it's just a bed or a place that we know, this is where I go to sleep. It's really important in our mind, for our mind, and for our energy flow, our smooth energy flow, to dial into each of those activities as fully as we can be, present for each of those activities uninterrupted. So what does that mean? It really means that when you are eating, just eat. Close the newspaper, close your phone, close your laptop, and clear out a space where you can actually look down at your plate and say, wow, thanks, I get it. I'm going to connect to this plate of food, or I'm going to connect to this cup of tea, or I'm just going to connect to sitting at the table quietly for a minute with this glass of water and just do this one thing. When we're in the bathroom, same deal. Put your phone down, put your news down. You're in the process of digesting and processing and letting go of what you don't need. It's not like you would bring a sandwich into the bathroom with you. So why would you bring in a newspaper? You just don't know what you're going to flip open and see at that moment and what that's going to do to upset the smooth flow of your energy with some emotional reaction. So again, just a moment where you can just do that one thing. And the same thing goes for sleeping at night. Just, you've heard this in a million places and a million ways. Turning off your laptops, turning off your TV, turning off everything for about a half an hour before you lay down to go to sleep so that your mind can get into that restful place. And actually, that's a really good time to take yourself through your eye treatment again at the end of the day, using this beautiful practice of rubbing here and rubbing your face, rubbing your eyes, and letting everything go and just appreciating everything that you've done all day to get through to the end of your day. So that's the 3rd tip, has to do with changing your mind. Our minds really create so much of how we act in the world. And I know that you all are very aware of this. And that sometimes we live so much in our minds. We're so busy with our plans. We're so busy with our goals, our strategies, our outcomes, our actions, our calendars, that we are on that constant move. That constant movement is not natural. Obviously, that constant movement does not allow us the time that we need to regroup and to process and to allow our bodies to function and heal and to regain the energy that our bodies need. So it's all about balance. I'm wearing a picture here on my shirt of balance. We've been talking a little bit about balance and about the cycles of balance. And in your heart that it's as important for you to be inactive as it is to be active. So these are 3 tips that can help you bring down your activity, step out of your mind for a few minutes, and allow your natural connection to strengthen. Why? So that you can step back into that exciting flow and energy of spring. So I'm going to come off being pinned. I'm sick of hearing my voice for a few minutes. And I just would really love to hear from anybody about what you are experiencing after having gone through that practice and hearing these 3 tips. Anybody have anything they're taking away from this at this point? Yeah, unmute yourself and jump in.
It feels so good right through here. It just feels really, I think I carry a lot of stress in my forehead.
Yeah. You have a lot of energy running through your forehead, over the top of your head and back and down and around your ears and in your ears. Your eyes are a map of the whole rest of your body. I mean, it's an incredibly powerful, energetic exploration. It's part of what we do in that 3-month course that I'm doing with women to recover energy. But yes, Michelle, it's just the relief just opens all of that up. Yeah, I agree. Anybody else feeling
It's very relaxed. I feel very relaxed. I'm like, oh, it'd be a lovely nap time right now. But I have a question, Jenny, about eyes that get itchy and kind of red and irritated in the spring. Obviously, this would help, I'm thinking. But what's going on with that? Do you know?
there are a lot of things that can contribute to that. Mostly we look at that from our Western culture and think that's an allergy, right? A lot of times we look at that and say, oh, I have an allergy, or someone will say, oh, it's moldy pollen time or whatever. In this energy system, we look at that as a sign from our body of needing more energy support. And in the work that we do in more depth, we go into the 5-element framework that supports the recovery of energy, and especially in the spring. But I would just say simply that irritated eyes, my red and itchy eyes often at the end of the day, are just because I'm using my eyes so much more and connecting to the electronics so much more, staring at my phone so much more, and the laptop. And that's, for me, my answer. Everyone in this practice will discover their own answer. And I definitely have gotten so much relief through these practices. This one in particular, guys, when you find that spot, you will feel the energy shoot all the way across the top of your head. And if you do these eye treatments for, say, 5 days or 7 days, you will wake up and you'll see that your eyes are white when you wake up, and you will see the clearing of the stuff that's stuck in there now.
Thank
Does
you.
that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love ending early. I jumped around a little bit, and thank you guys. I really want to emphasize something that I didn't say, which is spring is the time for women. Spring is the time that we create. Spring is the time that life is creating. The world is planting seeds. The world is planting 1 million seeds, and nature is planting 1 million seeds, and doesn't care what comes to fruition. It just has to do it anyway. Women, we have the reproductive engine. Whether you have birthed a child or you haven't, you are wired naturally to tap into these cycles, and to, no doubt, you are creating so much in your lives right now. So many projects, so many relationships, so many engagements. All of these things bring a lot of joy, and all of these things carry a level of stress. In springtime, we want to really be aware of the impact of stress on our energy. If at the end of the day, you're feeling tired, and you've been feeling tired day after day after day, and your old resources for recovery aren't working, it could be that you need to step into a new view. You need to change your view, change what you believe about what's possible for your health and wellness. And I really want to support you all going forward. I know that you're all very busy building businesses. And I know that some of you, and not all of you, are going to continue to work with me going forward. but I really hope that you will all schedule a call with me, because we leave a session like this feeling like, wow, I just learned so much. And maybe there's some things I'm interested in learning more about, or some things that weren't easy or were easy. This follow-up call with me is free. It doesn't cost you anything. You should just grab it. And whether or not we continue on together, have a little bit of a conversation with me about how to personalize this energy work so that it's really acting for you in your life, and really allowing you to take advantage of this particular moment to grab a foundation for energy and balance that's going to serve you for the rest of the year. So Phyllis-Ann, do you have that link? Can you pop it? Or maybe you popped it in the chat already. Let's see if we can get that calendar link into the chat. For those of you who are watching on replay, I will come and zip it into the chat. And honestly, I've opened up a few hours tomorrow and Wednesday. That's going to be it for about a week. I'd love to see if we can connect in the next day or two. And, you know, just grab a half an hour and we'll just take this a little bit deeper so that I can help you make use of this in the weeks ahead. However, that's going to work best for you and your life and your needs. So coming to the end, I just don't know what else to say, except I'm so happy. No, I'm just really grateful for you all. I hope you all will benefit from what we've learned here today. Remember, you have the energy in you. If you're tired, if your eyes are red and itchy, if you've got painful periods, or you've got aches and pains, don't freak out. They're just messages from your body. You're not here to live in pain. You're here to live with joy, and connecting to nature and to energy is a really good way to connect to joy and the promise of life ahead. So I hope you all will. I know we'll all stay in touch. And I'm going to sign us off.
Thank you, Jenny. It's Jade. I wrote in the chat all the amazing tips that I got. I did the practices with everyone. I kept my thing off because it's noisy here. But would you please? Yes, too. Would you please put the link for your calendar in here, or is it going to be in your group?
It looks like we're having a little bit of trouble getting it in. Is that true?
Yes, I'm not able to. I'm sorry. Maybe you're able to.
Maybe
you can paste.
It's the last. Oh, look, I do have it. There you go.
Oh, good. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no, yeah, wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jenny.
Go and bloom, little
Jenny.
flowers.
Beautiful, beautiful event. Love you all. Thank you.
Thanks,
Nice to meet you,
Jade.
Mom.
Thanks, Phyllis-Ann. Goodbye.
job.
Bye, Tilson. Bye, Paula. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.